Hey guys, this video goes with the counting the number of atoms in a molecule activity. We're going to start first by counting the number of atoms in all of the molecules that do not have a coefficient and that do not have parentheses. So I'm just going to go through and highlight those for you. The first one, moving down. I'm missing a few. Alright, so anything on your paper highlighted in yellow goes with step 1. Alright, so I'm just going to copy that first one over here onto this paper and teach you how to count those atoms. Alright, so my first one, hold on, is CaCO3. Now, this number here, the 3, this is my subscript. And the subscript tells me how many of that element you have. How many, I guess I should say, atoms of that element you have. Alright, so the first thing I want to do is take all of my elements out of this molecule and make a list with them. Calcium, carbon, and oxygen. And then I'm going to count how many atoms I have for each one. So I'm going to look here at calcium, and calcium does not have a coefficient in the front, and it does not have a subscript at the back. So that tells me that I only have one calcium. Carbon, same thing. No coefficient in the front, no subscript in the back, so I only have one carbon. And then oxygen, there's no coefficient in the front, but I do have a subscript in the back, and that tells me that I have 3 oxygen atoms. Now to find the total number of atoms, I am just going to add all 3 of these up. 1 plus 1 plus 3 is 5 total atoms. Alright, so now I'm going to transfer this information over here to this page, and for total atoms I'm going to write 5. Carbon atoms I had 1. I'm sorry, calcium atoms I had 1. Carbon atoms I had 1, and oxygen atoms we have 3. You're going to follow the same exact process for all of the rest of them highlighted in yellow. Alright, next we're going to work on adding in that coefficient. So I'm going to go through the paper and I'm going to add or highlight all the ones with coefficients and no parentheses in pink. It has to have a coefficient and no parentheses. Alright, so all of those are in pink, and I'm going to copy this first one over to this white copy paper so that we can practice. Alright, 2CaSO4. Alright, so this first number here, this is your coefficient. And the coefficient is going to tell me that I have 2 sets of everything in this box. 2 sets of everything in this box. Hold on just a second.
Attention all boys basketball players. Can you please report to Coach Beard's class at this time? All Pine Hill boys basketball players, please report to Coach Beard's class at this time. Thank you.
Okay. And the process for the rest of it is going to be the same. The coefficient tells me that I have 2 sets of everything inside the box, and all I'm going to do is multiply this coefficient by everything on the inside. So the first step is to go ahead and list your elements just like we did before. And I'm going to count how many atoms I have of each element inside the box. For calcium, I have 1. Sulfur, I have 1. Oxygen, I have 4. And then I'm going to multiply each one by the coefficient of 2. Alright, so for calcium I have 2, sulfur I have 2, oxygen I have 8. Add these up and you have 12 total atoms. Alright, and we're just going to transfer this over here. For calcium we have 2 atoms. For sulfur I also have 2 atoms. And oxygen we have 8 atoms. And there are 12 total atoms. Alright, last step is to work on those that have a coefficient and a parentheses. This time I'm not going to highlight it. Just know that this step goes with all of these that have a coefficient in the front and parentheses somewhere inside of it. Alright, so I copied the first one over. Remember, with your coefficient, you're going to multiply that by everything, and your subscript, when you have parentheses, this subscript needs to be multiplied by everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to start with making my list of atoms or elements and counting them. I'm going to put my box to help me remember. Alright, and just looking inside the box, I have 1 calcium. I need to multiply this 2 by nitrogen, and I only have 1 nitrogen, so it's 2 times 1 is 2. And multiply the 2 by the subscript in oxygen, so it's 2 times 3 is 6. And now I need to multiply everything by this coefficient. Everything gets multiplied by 3. And I have 3, 6, and 18. Add them up. You have 27 total atoms. Okay, and I'm going to transfer this over here. I have 3 calcium, 6 nitrogen, 18 oxygen, and 27 total atoms. I hope this video was beneficial and helpful to you. If it was not, or you're still confused and you need some more help, please send me a message in Edmodo and I'll try to make another video to help clarify. See you soon. Bye.